This Memorial Day weekend, we're remembering men and women around the world who have sacrificed their lives for our freedom.
Anybody that's in the combat zone is completely changed.
In World War II, William Jennings Arnett fought on Normandy Beach.
I'd say after about a week in combat, you're old. I don't care if you're 19 years old or what. But you are an old person. You realize that when you're in combat, you know that you can be killed.
William talks about what it was like to be at war.
Actually, you can go several good many hours without sleep, but you don't have tied a timing or anything. And finally, you will just fall asleep after you get so tired. There are cases of people or soldiers falling asleep standing up.
And William remembers what it was like to come home.
I had gone to work, was working outside, and there was a noise that sounded very much like a shell coming in. And although the war had been over for about 9 or 10 months, I still hit the dirt, and it's just automatic thing. And you have I had recurring bad dreams and that went on very heavy for about 15, 20 years.
I met members of the Senate. I met members of the Congress. I was infatuated by the whole Washington scene and by Jack Kennedy, and asked not what your country could do for you, but what you could do for your country, and by the spirit of the new frontier. And I was 21 years of age.
Max Cleland, former U.S. Senator and American war hero, lost both legs and his right arm when a grenade exploded during his service in Vietnam.
We weren't particularly hardcore West Point killer warriors, but we weren't particularly just academicians out for a stroll in the sun either. We felt like we had to take our place in the line. I mean, now that basic fundamental feeling, I think, is epitomized, I guess, in Stephen Ambrose's story, Citizen Soldier. I mean, in American history, you really have, each time we go to war, have some commitment. You have just basic Americans who just feel that in their gut, that they have a duty and obligation to take their place in the line, whatever that place is. And that's really, I think, the strength of American defense.
I suppose, like anyone, you are scared.
Senator Chuck Hagel was only 24 when he arrived in Vietnam.
It's hot, it's unfamiliar, it's oppressive. There is great angst, uncertainty. As we were walking down the steps, moving, we got in early in the morning. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. Even at 6 o'clock in the morning, the heat was oppressive.
Senator Hagel's most memorable moment at Vietnam.
My brother Tom and I had been walking point, physically the front position, but also the responsibility of essentially not walking your squad or your company into an ambush or a trap. And we were walking through a very dense jungle, and we were crossing a stream. One of the point guys hit a tripwire in the stream. There were large claymore mines that had been placed in the trees, and so when that tripwire was hit, the claymores exploded. Of course, took down the guys in front of us, hit me with shrapnel in the chest. Tom got shrapnel in the arms and some in his chest. As afraid that night as I think I've ever been.
Mother was in shock when she knew that I was going overseas, but I had to make her understand that I felt it was my duty to be part of this army.
Isabel Cook was a nurse in World War II.
My brother was drafted, and he was in the Army at the time. He went to officers' training school, and he became an officer. We went on a troop ship. Since it was a very fast ship, we just zigzagged across the Atlantic. We didn't go in a convoy. We ended up in Casablanca.
It was September 1942 when Isabel Cook volunteered to serve.
I keep thinking about the children that will pretty soon only know World War II as a chapter in the history books. And I wanted very much to share my experiences with them, because in times of war, things are very different than they are at other times. Relationships don't last very long, because one day there's a soldier here and the next day he's in combat. And sometimes you've gone with them for several weeks or months, and then suddenly you never hear from them again. And you don't know whether they were killed in action, whether they were wounded, or what happened to them. So you're always left with that feeling, what could have been, but wasn't.
I was the man that carried the maps. My instructions were, get to the designated point without getting lost or getting shot.
World War II veteran William Lonkarik talks about his experience at St. Lol during World War II.
This area, this is where the American and British forces entrapped the 12th Army, German Army group. We're talking about several 100,000 troops that were entrapped. When you have that many men, you can break through any line that anybody creates. So we had thousands of men that were casualties. In fact, right near us, where they broke through, we lost so many infantrymen. They stacked them up as cordwood. You're never afraid of a situation. You know, you just face up any situation you had, straight ahead. And nothing bothered me. I'm just real grateful that I'm living today, because when I was in Normandy, the first few days of Normandy, I didn't think I'd ever make it.
Wherever you are this Memorial Day at 3 p.m., pause to remember the people who have preserved our freedom with their lives. Show your support for American veterans and their families online at remember.gov.
The bugle has sounded, its notes drift away. This time now belongs to you. On this day, for one brief moment, hear the silence fill the air. Think of those who walked beside us, now no longer there. Then don't cry, but hear their laughter, for their spirit lives inside. Let that mystic